being able to hear way in the back. If that should happen, we'll stop the program and we'll get it fixed, okay? Okay. All right, good. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Welcome. See, I have my notes. Welcome. Do we have any new members and or guests with us?
Right there.
Oh, hi, hi. What is your name?
Shannon Tolson.
Shannon Tolson.
Shannon, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Any guests? Nope. Okay. Roberta keeps hounding me. We have a release form that is for the senior center, and everybody is required to fill it out and sign. It's like a, I don't know, 7-second fill out and sign. Is there anybody here who has not filled that release form out? Oh, okay, yeah. If you're on the property, they feel a whole lot more comfortable if they aren't responsible for it. Kind of works out that way. Okay, so we did that. Okay, there is a sign-up sheet for the art challenge today, which is the holiday something.
Anticipation.
Anticipation. It's the holiday anticipation. If you brought a piece of art and you want to share it, I'd appreciate you signing up so that we can call you accordingly. Okay, is everybody signed up for that? Sounds like it. Okay, good. Okay, what I'd like to do now is introduce our guest speaker, Barbara Burge. While Barbara is talking, Linnell is going to be showing a PowerPoint of the membership show that was at the Government Center, and she's
In alphabetical order,
in alphabetical order.
from honorable mention to first place in each category, because I heard that's how Barbara likes it.
Check her out, boy, and she's going to overlay something like Barbara.
No,
No.
don't worry about that part. That's after post-processing.
Okay, I want to introduce Barbara. Barbara is amazing. Barbara's been around the block a few times in the art world, and she has certifications in interior design, Creative Arts Council. She is managing director of the Arts Council in the Placer County. Barbara lives in Roseville, so we're very happy that you made the trip over here. She is a charter member of the Art League of Lincoln, and what is really cool is she has received a certificate of recognition as an icon is a good word, of art in Placer County from the California State Senator, Ron Nilo. Did I pronounce that right? Nilo. As well as a certificate of recognition for one of the 40 icons in Placer County from State Assemblyman Joe Patterson. Barbara lives in Roseville. She's got a son and a daughter. The daughter has just moved back from Australia 2 years ago. Yeah, came back. She lived in Australia. She's come back. I just have to share, Barbara and I were talking because I saw that she's also owner of her own design company out of Detroit, Michigan. And I kind of sort of lived in the Detroit area, so we got to talking. Barbara went to a high school called Cass
Technical High School.
Cass Technical High School. So this is in Detroit, and it's in the early 60s, so it was safe to be in Detroit at that time. 7 floors in this brick brick building, because they're all brick, and schools
Stone.
back east, you know, you don't lay them out, you stack them up. 7 floors. Each floor had its own specialty department. I'm trying to think,
Music, drama, theater, art, electrician, building, construction, air conditioning. It was a technical school that started in the early 1800s for the city of Detroit.
it is so fascinating to hear that story and how it was all segmented like that. And, you know, as Barbara said, if they had schools like this today, there'd be a lot more kids learning a lot more stuff. So, with that, I'm gonna give it up. And Barbara, come on up.
How long do you reckon you took?
Will you hit the first bank of lights, and we'd like you to finish up before 3:30.
Thank you.
They're good?
Oh, God.
Good.
And if you don't take that much time, we're ready. We're
Okay.
ready with our next
Okay,
activity,
great,
so
great.
don't sweat it. Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna get out of here. Okay.
Hi, thank you for having me. I have not seen the slides, so I'm gonna hold off on the slides.
Yeah,
you know,
and
just for a
I'm
second.
actually gonna talk, you know that's gonna happen, Barbara.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's
When-
inevitable that
when
I'm
we
also.
talk art, what
Right.
I don't say, because I look at it differently, she says.
Right.
And what she says is exactly right.
This
It's
is
just
our
I look at it.
third show together, Barbara and I. We're getting to be good buds here with all this. But I wanted to start by talking just for a moment about our silent auction to benefit PAA's outreach program. We have been doing these silent auctions now for a few years at our membership shows, and these are donations that come from our artists or our presenters. And this time we have a special thanks to Valerie Bai and David Lobenberg for their donation of 2 pieces, and I understand we raised over $200 for outreach here. I believe to date we have raised over $1,000 on these silent auctions or thereabout. I didn't go back and look at the number, but 2, 4, 6, 8, something in that neighborhood. So we really appreciate those of you who bid, those of you who donate, and it's just a nice extra thing to do at our show. So when you see the colored sheets out on the table and the little art display like this when you walk in, that's what's going on. All right, now we're ready for you, Barbara. We're starting with Carrie Repking's honorable mention piece, One Fine Day, and that's the abstract non-objective category.
Okay, I wasn't ready to go right into this, but that's fine. Let me, before we do, really, I look at art differently. It's just knowledge that I have taken in since the 7th grade. And not only did I go to 4 years of art school, college prep, I went to New York School of Interior Design, which was my building blocks. I've gone to many other art schools, but just living the arts, and I do not, as I say, make art. My art is interior design. I can make art. I've taken just about every art class there is except jewelry making and oil painting, but I've studied them. So it's what I know, what I see, and somebody says, how do you know when something is good? It's just the years of training and looking and seeing at art, and everybody has their own perspective. And understand that. I tell that to people. I've had people who show me their art and think they're no good, and they're just starting out, and they were born with it. I mean, there's 2 ways of acquiring artistic ability. You're born with it and you build on it, or it's just there and you never use it, or you go to school because you like art and you like making art and you're pretty good at it, and then you do it and do it and do it and you get really good at it. So a lot of it is just in our DNA. So when I look at things, I look at it as a perspective as the art background, and as a designer. So I look at color, scale, proportion, perspective, because I've taken all these classes. And when I see something, they say, how do you know? I said, everybody knows what they like. I said, when I see something, I know it. And they said, how do you know it? I said, don't know. And it's just in me from all the years of training and seeing wonderful art. And what I might like, somebody else might not like. So that's perfectly fine, because we look at things differently. All right, this abstract, I'm gonna turn sideways so I can look at the piece here, not fall over that chair. Thank you.
Let me just say that little blue square in the top right corner is not really on the piece, and I think we're gonna see this on every slide. Looks to me like it's the speaker that's not turned on, so how convenient that we're gonna see that, but ignore it.
Oh, yeah, it's just nice blue, nice little, we'll look at it. I happen to like abstract, so I really do enjoy abstract, and abstract is kind of a funny thing. It's, you know, it's the lines, it's the color, it's what's used, whether it's multimedia, whether it's just watercolor, whether it's just oil paint. It either speaks to you or it doesn't. And this one, I just loved everything about it. I liked the shapes, I liked the color, I liked the way they were put down on the paper, and where they were put, the colors, the shading, this perspective. You know, there's not a lot you can say about some abstract, it's just, I like it. And when you look at what everything else was, and you know, there's a lot to look at, and there's a lot of choices to make.
As you go through this, can you tell us the medium if it's not listed?
It's an abstract, non-objective, and it's not, I don't know what medium this
This
was.
is a mixed medium.
Yep.
This artist tears a lot of paper.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I've only seen these once, and this is the second
Yeah.
time.
And
So-
we'll tell you if we know.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Yeah. So, you know, I think there was two pieces that were similar, and this one was the one that really spoke to me. I liked the other one too, but this one really did spoke, trying to remember.
Yeah, they were on top, one was on
Yeah.
top of the other.
I
This
went to a tour up in Chico, art tour, this last weekend for 2 days. So I've been looking at a lot of art, so it's like, it was fun, but it was a long drive. This glass piece is really, really fun, really well done, very well finished. I just enjoyed it. You know, you don't see a lot of glass. You don't see a lot of clay in a lot of the shows unless they're specific for that. So when you see them, you're like, you really look at them and how they're finished and how they speak to you. And I really enjoyed this piece of glass.
and this was a glass mosaic glued to a glass vase.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Again, abstract is its own thing. It's a huge piece, if I remember correctly. It was quite a large piece.
Yes.
It just was fun. It was something I would have in my home. Again, not everybody, you know, abstract's a funny thing. I love the shapes, I love the perspective of them, the depth, the fact that some of them look like water, and they're ripples of water, and they're stones. I mean, your imagination can take you a lot of places. But I saw this as really as underwater stones. I mean, that's just the way it came off to me, looking at it through stones in the river.
And this is Rocks and Eddies by Gloria Vernon, and it took the second place award. And those of you who were at our member meeting last month, Gloria was one of our presenters along with Lucia that's here today. And Gloria brought this piece. She may have done some touch-up work on it after, maybe not. But we got to see this piece last month at the meeting, and it's watercolor and a newer medium that she's working with called Brusho. And at the demonstration she gave us last month, she showed us the way that the Brusho works and the way that she uses the crystals directly on the paper to create some of her effects that we see here.
What can I say? This is so much fun. I mean, the amount of detail, it's just a fun piece. To me, arts, we were having this discussion yesterday, so I'm gonna throw it in here. people who buy art for investment. Oh yeah, millionaires will do that because, you know, it's fun and makes them look good. But the rest of us buy art because we like it and it says something to us and we want it around us, and when we walk by, it either brings back a memory or tells a story. It could be even who you were with when you bought the piece. Some people, you know, like, oh, you shouldn't match your art to your yeah, well, your furniture. I'm an interior designer. Let me tell you, a great big piece over a sofa should have some sort of context with that big sofa that's under it in some way, so that they kind of, you know, have I always say, they have conversations with me. So art does have a conversation with me in talks. So this piece was just, I mean, Ron Hall's art is different from each other, and he's doing some new things, I think, it looks like, because at first I didn't know that it was Ron. And I thought, because I'm used to his other work, and when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my, a lot of detail, a lot of attention. Again, you know, it's from your perspective, but it's really, really a fun piece. You know, you walk by it in the house and you're gonna laugh and you're gonna smile. And that's what art should do. It should, you know, bring emotion to you, to me. That's the way I feel about it.
So based on what you just said, this would be the perfect piece for the above the crazy cat lady sofa.
Uh-huh.
Because it would tie in with what's underneath. And also jumping off of something Lucia said at the last meeting when she was saying, you don't have to see shapes and abstracts, you don't have to see other things, but I'm pretty sure that's a dog in there. Up there at the top.
Oh, it looks like cats,
There
dogs,
looks like at least
yeah.
one dog in
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
coming from the crazy dog lady.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then.
So this looks, to me,
Yes.
this looks like the dog. and
That's the
then these are
dog.
cats,
The
yeah.
cats, and there is a dog
Yeah,
in there. And what I found interesting, recently someone asked Ron the question about how does he do it? Does he plan the whole thing out? What does he do? And he said, no, I start in the middle and work my way out and just use my imagination as I go. And I thought that was a very interesting thing. And so that says to me that the cat just under the dog was probably where he started this piece and then worked his way out. And I think that this is probably a lot of ink in here.
It's all acrylic.
It's all acrylic,
And look at
okay.
the title. It's Cactus Cats from Planet Earth.
And here's the
It's
cactus.
all cats and cactuses. So-
Well, except for the dog.
Crazy dog, seeing dogs.
All right.
Black and
All
white.
right,
It's black, white, and gray.
Great.
So, yeah.
And then here are the winners. The man himself, Ron Hall, on the left, Gloria Vernon, Sue Wickersham, and Carrie Repking. If you don't show up for your awards, you don't get in the picture.
you're hard.
I know.
Okay. AI.
A controversial topic.
Of course, we've had this conversation, you and I've had it with people. Reminds me of the conversation that we had with photography, with photographers. You know, there's the traditional photographers that it's all light and the lens and, you know, your eye, etc. And then there's, you know, different manipulations of the photography. So it still looks like a picture. We're not talking about color overlays or additions or anything, but they've manipulated it or added something to it because the scene they saw didn't give them what they wanted, you know. So they'll take, like, I just saw one of the artists that posted on my Facebook page said they took the exterior or the perimeter of the piece and then they added to the middle because they thought that's really what should have been there. It was a farm scene. And it was missing. And she said, I think that probably had a barn and you know, so she put it in, so she added it in. It's art, you know, it's a photography, but it's, so we'll have all these conversations. We're gonna have this with AI because, you know, AI is, someone just asked me about tech classes for the kids with after school. And I said, you know, AI is art. I mean, AI that does it all on its own, and it just does it because it picks up things from the, you know, the world out there of numbers and data. And then there's art that's AI that you go out and put together. You get to pick the colors, you get to pick the subject matter, and you put them together. So that's where, to me, it's art. It's just done, it's not with pencil, it's not with pastel, it's not with oil, it's not with watercolor, it's not with wood. I mean, you know, you could go on and on. But that conversation's gonna be a fun one down the road. I really can see the different art organizations having deep, serious screaming matches about this one.
And we were asked to have that conversation early on by one of our members who is almost 90 years old. He said, we need to get in front of this question of AI, and I don't think he realized that I was going to embrace it. And for those of you who don't know, I'm the artist here. And I have embraced it because it fits with my technical background. And I love being able to use word prompts to coax the computer into giving art. And early on, I had a detractor that was a member of our organization, also a gentleman in his 80s. And he said, it's not art. And I said, well, the art is in what you prompt and then what you curate. And so you're not painting it, but you have to coax it out. The same week as we had this exhibit at the Government Center, was asked to put my AI art over into the Board of Supervisors chamber. And so I hung that. That same artist that kind of gave me a hard time at the beginning posted on Facebook after I put my art up in the chamber and took a couple of pictures of it. What prompt did you give to get that piece in the middle? And so I told him what the prompt was, and he answered back, wow. And this one was me asking the computer what's going on with it when it creates art. So I asked it to show me what Mid-Journey art was like being created on Discord servers. And so this is what the computer thinks is going on in its head.
So that is, and people don't realize it, a creative mind. One of the big things, I don't know if everybody's familiar with the American for the Arts. We just did, in Placer County, we did AEP6, which is a national program out of the feds. And it's basically information, and it has to be at a creative event. And it's from all over the United States, and it's economic, it's you know, where you're living, it's brain. Anyway, AE5 got me going on it. So I saw AE5 down at Sacramento. Randy Cohen spoke about how art and technology. So for years we said, oh, technology. Kids, you know, if you got, you know, math, science, all the money went for that. Forbes came out and said, yeah, that's really great, but all the tech companies are saying that all the problems are being solved in one way, left brain. You need the right brain to solve some things creatively and differently. Because if you've got everybody who's right brain and it's all math and science, they're going to solve it with that data a certain way. And you need that right part of it. And they saw a huge deficit in what they were producing, and their solutions for the technology that they were producing was all the same. And they wrote, and they took that AEP 5.6, that federal government American for the Arts survey, and they turned it into information, and all of a sudden the tech companies start saying, okay, you know, we want the math, science, that's what you're here for, but we need some history. And when I say right brain, that doesn't mean you're just drawing or singing. It's history, it's literature, it's poetry, it's all of those things that you should and need to take those classes if you have a passion for them, and focus on those also while you're at university. So you know, we're starting to think differently, and the AEP 6 just came out. We just had a big thing on it last week, And it's basically saying the same thing, and we need to hit the underserved communities with that. So that's what we're gonna be working on.
No, I was gonna say dyslexia.
Yep.
They're finally finding out that people that are dyslexic can see things totally different.
Yeah. So, we've got a long way to go.
And I thank you for the award, Barbara, because that was at the judge's discretion. Just for you guys' information, there were not enough artists that entered this category, nor enough entries to warrant full-blown, and the judge thought that this piece was enough to get an honorable mention, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And I'm a sci-fi freak, so it really spoke to me, and the colors, the poetry. Thank you.
I do have a question.
And
Yeah.
So now, is the common acceptance that if we are saying AI art, it is prompt creative art?
correct, rather than altered photographs. So there's the possibility of starting with the photograph and using a filter or AI to alter that. But so far, we've decided to put that with photography versus AI. That could be a change in the future.
So now, I don't know how you have been following up what Adobe has been introducing in their regular apps, such as Photoshop. You can use what was already artificial intelligence in when they were adding backgrounds or making things larger,
Right.
or and so on and so forth. However, now there is a new feature thanks to all the research that they have done with Fly, that you are in these apps and you can have a prompt saying, I would like this to happen within my work. But it's two ways, either the old way, where you just circle and say add on and then it's gonna do it on its own, or you can add a prompt saying exactly what you want to see transformed.
Has Adobe opened up its licensing so you can use your results commercially?
Yeah.
Because that was one of the stumbling
Yeah,
blocks
it's
with them
done.
early on. Great information, and perhaps something to discuss when we're talking about the category for the next show.
And it's really gonna be an evolution.
Yeah, it is.
You-
It totally
there's-
is.
It's gonna
Right.
take a while, but at some point, it's gonna like, oh, yeah, that's art. Right.
Now we're to animals.
Oh, okay. My second love, besides abstract, is recycled, repurposed. I did three shows down in, international shows actually, down in the Art Lake of Lincoln a few years back, called Pure Imagination. And I came, when I moved here to California, I moved from Montreal, and I lived in the old port for 11 years, where all the galleries were. So in the wintertime, when you were snowed in, you could go to the galleries, because they were like 2 blocks away, and you'd have to get the car out and, deal with all the cold and the snow. And so I fell in love with recycled, repurposed, because I love refinishing things. I love finding curb finds. I used to do this all the time, refinishing them and making them into something different, so it just spoke to me. So I did these shows, and they were such a huge success that other people, because I brought them from Montreal, they were here in the United States, I'm not saying that, I just wasn't seeing it in Placer County when I was involved over there. And I went to all the towns, and nobody was doing it, and I'm like, well, we should be doing this. Find out there's all these artists that are doing yard art, beautiful yard art. I went one yesterday that not only was it the fun and funky stuff, with the chain and the old bike parts, but it was also some beautiful recycled metal made into a very contemporary figures. And I mean, you looked at it and you thought, wow, I mean, you could imagine somebody doing that with clay or marble or stone. But it was metal. It was old rusty metal. So, yeah, and
So the artist is here today, and I have a question for her. Sherry Lynn Morris, did you steal those wings at church?
A lot of times I get my wings and stuff from Christmas decorations.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's
Sherry,
good, that's good, because
that's-
this is in my art barn right now, waiting for the buyer to pick it up.
It's
We
very.
sold this piece.
Oh, did you?
We did.
Very nice piece. People, it's, yeah, they buy this art. I took 4, 5 ladies on the tour with me, that I actually met through my daughter, who lives up in Chico, and so does my son. And, we went to a place I went to last year, absolutely fabulous, fabulous maker. And, she bought a piece. She said, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this." And she bought a piece. And I wasn't taking them there to do that. I wanted to go and talk to the guy because I talked to him last year, because unless things change between now and next May, Cheryl and I from the MAC will be joining together and curating a recycled show. And it's gonna be called Pure Imagination. It's gonna be a play with what I had done in the past. And I'm gonna send them all, emails to all the people that, because it was a national show, that was a national show. I'm gonna send them out to everybody. So if anybody does or knows anybody that's recycled, repurposed art, put me on your calendar, because Cheryl does a fabulous, fabulous exhibit. And the two of us are just, you can't beat it. I mean, it's really, so, she'll be curating it in the sense of, putting it out and doing it, but I'll be picking the pieces up and doing the judging. So, all right, A Swan's Life.
Pastel, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's hard to tell. I just liked it. I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I just look at things and, as I say, they have a conversation with me. It was just a really, really well done piece.
The artist is
water.
Maggie Kastner.
Yeah. This was a pencil, wasn't it, or was it pen and ink?
Scratchboard.
Scratchboard, okay. Does it say that? Oh, but it's, yeah, it's a sweet piece. I mean,
Nini
it's
by
scratch-
Carolyn Cunningham.
Yeah, it's scratchboards, to me, I've seen it taught up at the AL, I've never done it, I'll be honest, but I've seen it, made. It's not easy. I've done printmaking and wood cutting and lino, and I know that's hard, and people don't realize how hard it is, especially the printing part of it, especially with printed making, with ink and metal and stuff. That's hard to get it so that you get a clean print, but,
We actually have a number of artists that do scratchboard and do a phenomenal job at it. Carolyn Cunningham is one of the newest additions. Linda Heath Clark, who's also sitting in this room, our former president, does scratchboard. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Shirley Isola does it as well. And then we have a couple of other people that also create with scratchboard.
a little play
Ceramic.
piece.
This is ceramic.
Yes, it is. I mean, how could you not want to take that home? I mean, I'm an animal person. I'm not necessarily, I think that's like a pug or a bulldog kind of breed. I like big dogs, not small dogs, but that was, just so sweet. As a matter of fact, I took a picture of it and I showed it to a friend of mine who's a collector of ceramics. He liked it, so, yeah.
And this is Kathy Kyle, our vice president. She's also in the room, and she introduced you, Barbara. And the thing I really love about these pieces that Kathy does is she always adds that extra little bit of whimsy to the piece, the bee on the butt of the dog. I mean,
Yeah.
not just a dog.
Yeah, and the eyes and the face, and it's just, you
Absolutely.
you look like, it's really, really, really well done. Okay, second place, animals. What was this?
This is Maggie Kastner again.
But
This-
what was it? Pastel, okay, it was hard to tell. I just liked it. I mean, you'll hear me say that sometimes, I mean, because it's done really, really well. It's the expression, the fur, the eyes, the nose, the whiskers. I mean, you look at all of it and it comes together and it's a really nice piece. And if you like animals, it's one to take home. Ah, yeah. Absolutely stunning.
Scratchboard.
Absolutely stunning. This piece was just, in some ways, remember last year, you probably don't, because I don't, it was an oil painting, it was the cowboy. It was very dark and very, it just it just emoted emotion to me. And that's what this is. It's like, wow, those are, really wonderful animals, first of all. The technique, how it was presented, the dark, somebody normally would want to put too much color into it. This one that's all it needed, was the 2 or 3 tones that were used in it. Beautiful piece.
Oh, there's our animal awards. Sherry Lynn Morris, Carolyn Cunningham, Maggie Kastner, and Kathy Kyle. Shirley Isola was out of town, so she wasn't there.
By the way, the place that you are so fortunate to have your show in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wanted to stay there. It was so calming, so reflective, wonderful piece. The colors is really, when I lived in Michigan for 30 years, we lived out in the country. This was after I was married, and we had all these wetlands with all these water lilies. So it was having a conversation with me, because water lilies aren't pink, they are, kind of a violet. They are yellow and green, but, I guess what they do when they get really in the fall, they do start turning rusty, a little bit rusty, But it's a lovely, sweet little piece,
It's Romaturov, and this is oil, and it also was spectacularly highlighted by the sunlight coming through the
Yeah,
atrium
that
right
does.
as Barbara was judging. So it just lit the piece
It
up.
must have been something was telling me to look at that piece closer.
Yeah.
Okay, I really like this piece. It's well done, the technique is great. The perspective drawing me in, the rocks, the trees. It's a really, really nice piece. But I was telling Linnell, I have to look at it 2 or 3 times, because there were several with the same subject matter in that had been submitted. So finding, they were all good in one way or another, and not good, but some of them were really, really, really great. But this one, the colors, the rocks, and the actually drawing me in and taking me for a walk down that river, of all pieces, one that I said, no, that's it. So,
And this is Philip LaChapelle. He does work in oil.
now, this is a landscape seascape, but it was almost, I said to Linnell, I said, it felt kind of abstract to me too. So which could have been either. It just really a really lovely piece. The colors, the shapes, everything about it. I mean, it could be used anywhere and be a happy home for you.
And this is Piedras y Sombra by Cynthia Hayes, and I believe it's pastel?
It is pastel.
Is it? Very nice.
Aspen Grove by Matt Harleen.
We're now, pen and ink, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to read.
He's in the room, so
Thank you.
yes, he's saying
I'm
yes.
trying to go by my brain what it was. Again, pen and ink, I have done and have trained it. It's not easy. People think it is. It is now, a lot of the rapidiographs and all of that are, easier to work with. But when I was training, we didn't have rapidiographs. We truly had pen and ink, Indian ink, and nibs. Actually, when my high school was tore down, I was there one of the last days, and there was a bunch of young people running up because the building was half deteriorated and it was fenced in. And I went with my mom, because I was taking her out of Michigan and bringing her to California. And I said, I want something from the 7th floor, from the art department. And these kids were going in there and retrieving things for all of these other folks who we couldn't do that, right? Because the elevator wasn't working anymore. You had to use the steps. And he went in and he came back down and he brought me a jar of nibs. And the name nibs, which was perfect. I mean, you know, because it was small, it was a memory, I could put something on it, it was not big and bulky from the art department. So that's, you know, not only did we use it for lettering, but we also used it for pen and ink drawing. This is a very, very, very nice piece. I really enjoyed it. All right, landscape and seascape. It's Randy. How could you not love his work? I mean, everybody's at a different place and time in their lives, and they're changing and they're evolving. I love the fact that it was a circle, you know, rather than the big square pieces that he does a lot. It's just the colors, the technique. He does something that's uniquely his own, and that's what we all wish we could do. So that when somebody looks at our work and says, oh, that's a Ron Hall. You know, there's so many great, I mean, you know, Placerville, El Dorado. We have artists here in California that the amount of artists out here is amazing at all different levels. And very nice. Yes.
This is a newer artist in our group, Jen Welda. She's only been a member for about a year, and she does really spectacular work. Is it watercolor?
Oil,
Oil, thank you.
and it's very large.
Yeah, very large, and you could really look at it. You know, could look into it. Sometimes you can't really get into it. But this one is so long that you can actually go up there and stand at it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the water and the water spray and the rocks. It reminds me of my family's cottage on Lake Erie, the shores and the rocks that we had around. And so when the storms came, so again, it's memories. It's what do you like, what do you think, and then you look at how it's done. The technique on this was really, really well done. Somebody's been practicing a lot.
Absolutely. And then we have our award winners, Randy Honnerlaw and Cynthia Hayes, in that category.
Okay. Recycled, repurposed. It's, you know, you don't have that, but it's people. It's just a sweet little piece and I'll tell you, I'm gonna walk away, just having the pieces so well balanced with the colors, and the different textures. It's really an excellent example of repurposed, recycled, even though it's people portraits. Which is fine, because that's what it is.
And that's The Huntress by Deborah Kelly. This is her first show with us. I first saw her work at our Motherlode show last year, and this assemblage work is very typical of the style that she does. And I just got into a bidding entanglement with Sherry Lynn Morris's sister at the Boots and Bling auction for the equine rescue over one of Deborah's pieces that she had donated to that event. So there's much appreciation coming up for this kind of art. And Deborah is very good at what she does, as is Sherry Lynn. They have a different feel to their pieces.
Right.
Sherry Lynn's being a little bit more whimsical, Deborah's being just a little bit more, what was she thinking? Kind of, it's like you want to know what's going on in her mind.
Right.
Of course, you also want to know that about Sherry Lynn, and you kind of think maybe it was that tab of acid, but
I'm glad you know all these people.
I don't think Sherry Lynn does acid, that's just me. though.
That's- All right, Ron Hall. I haven't seen this piece before, so I'm assuming either he hasn't shown it or it's brand new.
It's new.
It's new, okay. Just wonderful. I mean, how can you not, well, you can't not like it.
And once
Everybody
again,
has
this
their
is
own taste.
acrylic, and he
Yeah.
probably started with their nose.
Yeah, and, but the eyes, if you look at the eyes, to me, they're telling a story. They're looking, they're questioning. I mean, it really has emotion to it. I mean, it's colorful, it's wonderful, it's telling a story about, tattoos, Indian, sorry, henna, thank you. I knew what I wanted to say, but it's colorful and just an amazing piece. But really what I like about it is the eyes. Now, on my Facebook, which I don't take everybody, so I started during COVID because I was going out of my mind. I was running the ACPC, but living by myself was going. So I started doing Facebook, and I don't show a lot about my family. I don't do that kind of thing, and I'm like, what can I do? I'm always promoting events. Well, COVID, we didn't have a lot of events. So what I started doing is promoting artists. And so people that I knew, they were posting their art or their studio or whatever. And it slowly evolved. So half what I have is from California, a few other countries. The other half is from Detroit. And I did that purposefully because Detroit art is similar to Sacramento, San Francisco, but it's different. And these are people, how I found all these artists was these were people I went to school with. Now, it may be not the same person, it may be their grandchild who also went to Cass Tech, because it was one of those things, if you went there, if you could get your kids in, they went there, because it was like, going to Harvard or Yale with the whole thing. Yeah, it was. So I've got one young man, Mario Moore, he shows down in LA. He shows all over. He's a graduate from Princeton in art. He just got his second piece into the DIA, the Detroit Institute of Art. His mother, Sabrina Nelson from Skastak and Teats at Sierra. So again, when you say it's in our, when I say it's in our DNA, it also gets passed down. And so that's why a lot of times you'll see a lot of families. We have clay makers that their families are all creatives and they're all doing that. So, it's a little bit of both, but it's a lot of fun. So that's why I do it, because I like people to say, okay, this is going on here in this part of the country, and this is going on. The photography is totally different. Detroit area, it's all dirty, rusty, buildings that have fallen apart, factories. We do a little bit of that out here in California, but not as much. It's more landscapes and animals. All right, California Cowboy. What can't you like about him? I mean, looks like a beer in his hand, and he's out relaxing, and it's, he's probably at the end of his work day, and he's got a smile in his eyes and a smile on his face, and the horse is amazing. It's just a happy piece.
And this is Jen Welda, the same one that did the tidal pool rocks that we were
Oh,
seeing.
really?
Yeah, and so
Really?
it's a very different style. It also
Yeah.
is oil.
Oh, yeah. Just a really nice piece.
Light is beautiful.
This is a sweet little piece, and by that I mean it was about this big. And I walk I walk around twice usually, 2 or 3 times, see what there's always a piece that when I first see it and I walk around one time and I go back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the piece, right, for me. When you do like best in show and that. But for people in portraits, I'm looking at a lot of really nice art. But this one was just this sweet little piece of this woman on the beach with her child, and she's dropped her shawl, and the boats are out in the water, and I'm like, I wish I was standing next to her. I mean, it just gave me that kind of feeling, and the technique is, it's awfully nice.
And this is Rebecca Lamely. The piece is Ocean Breeze, and I think Becky's in the room today. Is this oil?
Yes.
It's oil.
Yeah. Very, very, very nice. Really tells what's
And
very sweet
here we
story.
have our two winners in that category, Ron Hall and Rebecca.
Photography.
This piece wouldn't fit on half a slide. It just consumed the whole slide. So I went with it.
There are a lot of nice pieces in the photography category. I show a lot of photography because I like it, and I own some. So it's sometimes when there's a lot of really nice pieces, it's hard to find, you know, the special ones, especially when you're kind of leaning that way anyway. I just like this one a lot. I love the fact, you know, the water, and you see the depth and the perspective and the distance and the color with the sky and up front. Everything is just so well balanced. It's not centered, it's off center, it's just well balanced though.
And it's Thor's Well by Valerie Rondoni. This is also by Valerie Rondoni.
Did I do that?
Huh?
Did I do that?
They can get two, so
Oh, okay.
no more
I-
than
I-
two
I
awards
just-
per artist in the show.
I don't look at names.
She doesn't know when she judges. She
I don't
doesn't know
have
who the
names,
artist
so,
is.
you know, occasionally, it's obvious whose it is, but,
And the presentation on this piece, since it was printed on canvas, was so different than the other one, which
Yeah.
was, I think, on acrylic.
yeah,
And so you wouldn't even have thought it was the
Like-
same artist.
just, again, a really well, the water, the rippling water, the shadowing, the pelican is lovely, and it's very nicely done, but for me, it was the water. Not everybody can handle water, so that you feel like that's really, I wanna go down there and walk in the water, and that's water. Really nice. Okay, so I like dirty, rusty art. I really do. This was a really, really nice piece. I wanted to know where it was taken.
And everyone did. That was Lowell District Gulf Station by Chris Wright. The most asked question that we had on the opening day is, where was
What's
that?
And it's Bisbee, Arizona. I didn't take the picture, but we found out.
Oh, is there,
Bisbee, Arizona.
I could see that, I mean, because the cars, you
And,
know,
and
dry
they,
climate, they last for, you know.
they
forever.
rotate the cars around. Sometimes you'll go and there'll be a taxi cab or a police
Oh.
car in front of the Gulf Station. So the curators of this museum
Uh-huh.
rotate around the things.
So
And-
this is a museum,
No, it's a street that the city has chosen to keep like it was.
Historically accurate?
Correct, yes.
yeah,
And if you want to take photographs like this, you've got to go on a weekday. You cannot go to on the weekend and think you're going to get anything, because there's going to be too many people in the photo. So
Okay.
she went there originally on the weekend and had to go back on a weekday to get the photos.
it's a great story, great story. It's cute, and I'm a dog person, but I have cats, I've had cats. I just loved it, I love the color, I love the cat, I love the chair, everything about it, you know, the contrasting colors, and the fact that the cat's very light, but then his ears has got a little bit of the pink and rose that's in the wood chair, almost orange, depending on how you're looking at it. But it's just a really, really, really nice, and it's different. There was a lot of scenes and water and rocks, and it stood out because it was different.
And this is Colorful Cats by Sherry Lynn Morris. And from what we understand about the process, is it was originally photographs and then it was pushed through an AI filter for the effects. And Sherry Lynn had showed these to us, and I really like the way that she presented them as the triptych, because it almost seems like the cats are engaged and interacting with one another.
Very, very nice.
And here's the awards. We've got Valerie Rondone, Chris Reich, and Sherilyn Morris accepting their awards for photography. Still Life Floral, Habakuppa, Rebecca
Yeah.
Lamley, honorable mention. This is the same artist as the first place People Portrait, and I think it's also oil. Is that right, Becky?
Yes.
Okay.
So this had a conversation with me as a memory. In old Montreal, Port is like in Paris, and there were a lot of outside little places that you could sit outside, and it just brought back memories, and it was extremely well done. It was small, it was petite, it wasn't something that was in your face, but it was just a really nice little delicate story that was being told. And sometimes you can't in your home, if people having art in their home, and I say this as an interior designer, not everything can be large, overwhelming, because it's not restful. And you have to have some places that are quiet and calm, and you find those little places. Sometimes it's the bathroom. Little pieces doing on the walls, and people, take the time, they can look and enjoy it. I thought it was a sweet piece. What's not to like? I really enjoyed the shoes. I really, really did. Still Life is mostly floral that you see out there. And so when you see something that's not floral, it catches your attention and you want to, come into it and have a good look at it, and I just enjoyed it.
And this is End of Day, Carolyn Cunningham. Is this scratchboard, Carolyn?
Yes,
Yeah. This is Carolyn's too?
yes.
Somewhere, okay.
Melody's Mandolin by Melody Lane. And she was asked the question at the reception, do you really have a mandolin? And she said, yes, that's my mandolin. But she
Wow.
doesn't play it.
No, I don't.
Well, it made me think of a Renaissance painting.
Yeah.
I just, the balance, the scale, the colors, the subject matter, it's the different items that were put together, between the grapes and the wine bottle and the jug, really, really, really nice. This would be
Carolyn, do
something
you
to
know
have
the-
of your home for a long time.
The medium on this?
It's oil.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's here.
It's
pastel.
It's pastel.
Pastel, okay.
I've not seen it done, but I ask questions because I got pastel. I love it, and I have a lot of pastel artists that show. But there's just some newer content in some of the newer pastels, a little more oil, and that they can manipulate a little differently.
These are all just old-fashioned
Okay,
pastels.
yeah, okay. Very, very nice. That was a theme that day. I was like,
You were into boots.
well, what can I say? It's a funny little piece, and I just enjoyed it.
And this
the
one
frog-
is Ryan's boots, Kathy Kyle.
Yeah, and they're hiking boots, obviously, but they're been a while. It's probably 30s or 40s or whatever, and and the socks. I mean, it just and the little frog that's in there. It's probably reminds me of being on somebody's cottage porch. It had the old screen porches and the shoes or whatever there, and the little critter got into it. Just a fun piece.
Pastel, Cynthia Hayes,
yeah.
Imagine.
And I had to look at this piece twice. Because from far away, a little bit further away, I wasn't aware it was pastel. And I don't know if it was you or Carolyn that said to me, well, that's pastel. And I said, really? And I walked in on it because it looks like it's oil or an acrylic. And I just thought, how in the world is this something they do all the time? Is it part of their technique? What they're learning? and of course I like color. So that's why that one got chose. I liked it.
And here we have the winners in that category: Cynthia Hayes, Kathy Kyle, Melody Lane, Rebecca Lamley, and Carolyn Cunningham. I think you all showed up. This is watercolor, mixed media. The peacock feathers are real. The artist is Gloria Vernon, Peacock Spring Best of Show.
Is Gloria here?
No.
Aw. So I said I'd do a walk around one time, and then I start the second walk around. And as I'm walking around, I'm looking at everything, because I do it 2 or 3 times before I do a final walk around, you know, with the person who's taking notes. I knew after the first walk around what was Best in Show. This is an amazingly beautiful piece. And then when you stand up and go close and you see the real peacock feathers, you're like, oh. My only question is how long are they gonna survive?
Well, she says she gorilla glues them down, and they're
Uh-huh.
under glass, so
So
I
they
think they're
should
probably
survive,
pretty
yeah.
good to go.
Okay, yeah,
She talked to us about this piece at the
Did she?
presentation last
Okay.
month, and we asked her about how she secured the feathers, and
Feathers
she
down.
started just by trying to stick them down with a little bit of, gesso or whatever,
Yeah.
and she finally said, I had to just really gorilla glue them down to make it work, so,
And it's a very large piece if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's a large piece.
absolutely.
Large. I'd say, maybe
I'm saying 3,
3 by 4.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, probably 3 by 4.
it
And
wasn't 5, it was
then
4.
this is Gloria Vernon accepting her award. And then we had our People's Choice Award that you weren't aware of, Barbara, because it doesn't happen until the end. And Cosmic Inspiration by Carolyn Cunningham won that award.
Yeah, very nice. Well, it's awfully sweet, colorful.
This is
Yes.
a paper collage piece. And it's called, as we mentioned, Cosmic Inspiration. This piece was shown at our member show as not for sale because it also made it into our Motherlode show. And we had a number of people ask us about buying this piece, and I believe people even talked to Carolyn about perhaps commissioning something similar of their
Right.
pet. So this was a very fun piece and very fun. I have to tell you guys, this is the first time it's ever happened that we actually had a tie at the time that People's Choice was to be cut off. And the tie was 50-50 between the Best of Show piece and Carolyn Cunningham's piece. And so 2 of your board of directors that had not yet voted on People's Choice were handed ballots and told to go and select our favorite. And luckily, we didn't disagree, so we were able to break the tie. But this is the first time it's ever been that close. Both were very large pieces,
Yeah.
both were very eye-catching pieces.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, really, really sweet.
And there is Carolyn receiving
Yeah,
her
you did a good
People's
job.
Choice Award from me.
Very, very
And
nice.
we thank you all for another successful show. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome. I have a question. When is the reception for the Motherlode?
Donna
November
Nelson will
3rd.
be able to answer that.
At the break, which we're about to have.
Friday, November 3rd.
Oh, November, good.
5:30 to 7.
Okay, yeah. But put me on the mailing list for you, because last year, when I did judge that show, I sent that out. I mean, you missed the deadline. I talked to William about that conversation.
Yeah. Maybe that helps. Caesar, who's the dog whisperer? He gets dogs to stop whatever it is that they're doing. If they're barking, if they're attacking people, he just goes shh, shh. So maybe I should try that. Okay, we're gonna do the holiday anticipation art challenges. We're gonna do that right now, okay? And there are Oh, 10 of us? Yeah, so we gotta get going, you guys. So, first up is our illustrious leader, Linnell.
Yay, Linnell.
Okay, so I can get you all on the camera, which is over here. I want you to show your art like this, and then also like this. And this is a piece I created using AI, and the prompt included candles, gold objects, so it gave me gold candles, and I went with it. I tried to put a mirror behind it, it was too distracting, and I finally ended up with just this, which I just think is very holiday-ish, and
Beautiful.
I
Who
don't,
needs a tree when you got that?
yeah, I thought, oh, that looks really, really nice, so here we are, and Carolyn was talking about possibly hanging some stuff in the hallway here for the next couple of months, and I said, why don't we just hang everything from this challenge? So we'll see about that.
Because not everything
she's
can hang.
grimacing, because some people do ceramic 3D work, right? All right, so Mid-Journey AI.
Okay, good show. Okay, now we've got Carolyn.
Well, Linnell guilted me into participating in this, because I'm not very much of a, I don't know,
what?
a holiday theme kind of person. I know I don't need this. Okay, so,
So don't forget to show me.
Camera first.
There we are, thank you.
it's very small, so I don't know if you can see it. But it's a little girl looking out the window.
You're off camera.
Sorry.
See the dot on?
And all I did was, I thought, what can I do? Anticipation. So I looked on that wonderful thing called the internet and just saw some pictures I put in children waiting for Christmas and found this little girl with, it didn't look like this, but it was the concept. So it's just pencil. But,
Pencil.
It's pencil.
Oh, there you have it. Very
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, Sue. You're, do you have you don't have an art. That's all right. That's all right, you know what I.
Get up there and make shadow puppets, you signed up.
Okay, forget Sue, guys. Ellen Nelson.
Ellen? Did you sign up to show us a piece of your art, or did you sign the wrong sheet?
She signed my.
You signed the wrong sheet.
We may not have as many shares as we thought.
No, we don't. Oh, wait. No? No, Ellen?
No, Ellen.
Well, shoot, okay, here we go. How about Melody Lane?
Oops, I signed the wrong sheet.
Okay, I want you all to know you will not be eligible for flowers because you signed the wrong sheet.
No, I've got the right sheet up here.
You're right, are you reading off the right one, Kathy?
Okay, Marilyn? Oh, yay!
I do read what I saw.
Okay, this is
Very
going
good.
to be.
I didn't have my glasses on.
This is just a very little tiny pen and ink and watercolor that I did for my Christmas card. So now we have to make it into a Christmas card.
Very nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow, that is nice. Did everybody see that? Yeah, hold it high.
Older weather.
I'll pass it around. I'll pass it around.
Sherry?
Miniatures, yes. I've been working on miniatures for
Very
Winterfest.
nice. I really like the tree.
So I did kind of a very colorful tree and then the angel and the.
Oh my gosh. Very nice.
Working on this.
Okay. Okay, well then it's me. Did I miss anybody? Did anybody not sign the sheet? We had many people sign the sheet, but did anybody not sign the sheet? No, we're done? Okay, well, so, holiday anticipation, it's October. Doesn't that mean like Halloween?
It could.
It's not. Okay, so this is my piece. This is my piece. Okay, so this is Okay, so this is George.
Of course
and
it is.
this is Sammy. And they're having a conversation trying to decide where they're gonna go for lunch. I have this thing with dead trees. I love dead trees. You can do so much with dead trees. And then you throw a couple of vultures in there. You can do so much with vultures on dead trees. So I had to get this out of my system. So that's Halloween. That is not Christmas. There's no snow.
Christmas at Kathy's house.
Yeah. Okay, well, that just happened, huh?
Well, that certainly sped us up. Thank you all for signing the wrong sheet.
Okay, now down to the nitty gritty. I put my notes on my phone. Don't we all? No. No? Okay. Okay. There is a teacher. She teaches 3rd grade at Sierra School in Placerville. I don't know where Sierra School is. Does anybody?
I went there. It's just not too far from the hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, she's a 3rd grade
Ballard Lane.
She's a 3rd grade teacher. Her name is Katie Rhoda, and she is looking for a volunteer from our art group that will go to her 3rd grade class once a month and teach art. It sounds like fun. 3rd grade, I don't know, do they like to paint? Do they like to draw? Do they like to sculpt? Sure they like to sculpt, but that's not gonna happen.
Before someone tells them you can't do art. In other words, it's before the society
Before they
starts telling you you can't do art, yes.
They go, ew, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to be fingerprinted, and she said that it's $21. You have to go to the sheriff's department and be fingerprinted. So if you have a past, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend you go. I have all of her information. And in fact, she and I have been emailing today. And she's really excited that I'm making this announcement. Is there anybody who might be contemplating to maybe start thinking that maybe could I? Okay.
If we were to get a volunteer, it is possible.
Kathy?
Okay. And if we were to get a volunteer, it might be possible for us to help with supplies from our outreach.
Yes, we did that before with Oran.
How about a mother-daughter team?
That'd be great.
I love it.
I got fingerprinted at one.
It wasn't awesome.
Well, there you go,
That's the other
huh?
volunteers we have to get fingerprinted for.
Would you see me? And I can
Well, we're looking at you
forward,
right now.
well, but I don't want to take up this precious time exchanging the information. But I'll get you the information.
Just have to get you there.
Maybe,
That would be
huh?
awesome, you guys, awesome.
Okay, so we did this with Oran. We took, gosh, I think we gave her 500. Not that we're gonna give you 500, but we could definitely help along the art supplies.
Doesn't
I-
the school supply anything?
They may.
They haven't. It's, yeah, their budget is really not for art.
This is a perfect use of our outreach funds.
It
This is
is.
exactly what we do.
It is, once a month, you guys. I would imagine you could pick the day, you could pick the time. So, okay,
Well, also
I'll-
hopefully with this group, if we all go, oh, we need toilet paper tubes.
Yeah.
If we tell you ahead of time, you guys
Yeah.
can either bring them or start saving that type of stuff.
oh, that's great. Okay, that's great. It's not a commitment, because you're thinking to start thinking to maybe you guys should do it, okay? That's kind of where you are.
I'm bringing toilet paper next month.
Oh, we're not there yet, hold on. Let's start on this.
Okay, should we go do a run on toilet paper?
I have leftovers from COVID.
Okay, I do also want to say that our November meeting, we are going to have William Ishmael, who is the juror and the judge for Motherlode. And so the Motherlode show ends on November 18th, and he's going to come and talk to us on the 20th. How is that for timing? I think that's really good. Donna, at this point, do you want to say anything about the Motherlode show?
Sure. Since Sue couldn't be here, I'm gonna just step in and take a couple seconds. Everything is moving along great. We had about the same number of entries, a good representation to make it a national show again this year. We have selected, or William has selected 130 pieces to be in, and Sue and I have been working on the calendar and getting volunteers to help us at the front desk at the MAC. And I'm so excited because we only have 2 vacancies left to fill.
Yay!
Which is like,
Yay!
hello! So, I am reaching out to you guys today to sign up for one of the other, and I hope by the time this sign-up sheet comes back to me, both will be filled, and the cockles of my heart will be warm. Thanks to those of you who have already signed up. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't seen an email yet, there's probably one in your inbox. But again, as of this morning, we only have 2 sign-ups left, which is awesome. And I was hoping at this meeting we could fill the roster. So I'll send this around and keep my fingers crossed.
Donna,
Yes.
can you tell us how many artists entered and how many total art was submitted?
I can't tell you how many artists, but there were about 400.
Wow. Well, what?
Wow, 400.
Oh, yeah.
There were more than 420 pieces
Yeah,
submitted.
about 425.
420 pieces submitted. I think typically we have an average of 2.5 pieces per artist, and so that probably represents about 180 artists.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Sue spent an incredible amount of time, a couple of months ago, contacting artists directly. Through Facebook, shows, etc., and got a wonderful, wonderful response. So, without further ado, I'm gonna start at this table and shut my eyes.
Everybody put your head down, we'll do this in silence.
Just to let you know, it's Saturday, November 4th, 1:30 to 4, I think that's 2.5 hours. Friday,
That one right here.
Friday, November 17th, 4:30 to 7, and Saturday, November 18, 10:45 to 1:30.
That's three.
Free spot.
It's easy peasy.
We got a sign up, thank you. Thank you. And are you Ellen? No. No?
Melody. I think.
When, Melody,
I'm Melody.
you're Melody.
That's Melody.
No,
Okay.
I'm Wendy.
Wendy.
Okay.
There we go.
I was thinking, Wendy, I thought you had signed up on the wrong sheet, but no, she didn't.
Finger pointing, finger pointing.
Because I didn't have my glasses on. I didn't read what I was signing.
Okay, I have a question. Is everybody here getting the newsletter?
Is there anybody not getting?
Okay, okay, I don't know what that means. Is there anybody who is not getting the newsletter? But if you're not getting it, you wouldn't know that the newsletter's coming out. We get a newsletter once a month toward the
First.
beginning of the month.
Not always on the first, but toward the beginning.
Okay, in the newsletter, this last time, I put in the announcement of the holiday brunch. And we are going to have the holiday brunch at the Buttercup Pantry in Placerville. And I've asked people who want to come to email me, because I'm creating a list. Right now, I've got maybe 6. So I'm just reminding people, it is December 6th, it's on a Wednesday, and it is at 10 o'clock, okay? Just a reminder. We have a couple of positions on the board that are open, and everybody goes, woo-hoo! No? Okay, how about pick me, pick me? No? Okay, we've got the hospitality position. It is a board position. And the hospitality, which is Roberta, thank you very much. You've done an outstanding job.
And Roberta's gonna move to membership chair.
And Roberta's shoes are very big to fill, that's for sure. Hospitality circulates sign-up sheets for members at our meeting to bring the goodies. Work with show chairs on receptions for various things like the Harris Center, like the Motherlode Show. It's a lot of fun, huh?
Yes,
It is so much fun, that's why you're moving on. Okay, so we've got that position open. We could have people line up so we don't have a crowd signing up. That's not gonna work, is it? Okay, studio tour. Did we lose Matt? Oh, Matt, there you are. Okay, studio tour. I know you kind of took part of the helm this past tour. Do I understand that at this point we do not have a chair?
That's not exactly right.
It's-
Myra is willing to chair another year. Matt is there to help. What we need is a person on the board who is gonna be on the art tour so that we have a liaison between the board and the tour. And the board has said that if we do not have someone step up to be that board position, we will not have an art tour this year. So if you guys want an art tour, we need to fill this board position. And it would be a co-chair position, but it would be the person that needs to come to the board meetings, which are the first Friday of every month from 9:45 a.m. to noon here in the senior center. And otherwise, we don't feel comfortable with our insurance umbrellaing over onto the tour anymore.
Well, Matt, would that be either you or Myra?
No. That's why we're looking for a person to fill that
Okay.
position.
Well,
Matt has been very clear from the beginning that he's not willing to, or able, he does a ton, but he's not willing or able to fill that board chair position, which is why I have reached out to every person who was on the tour in the last year to let them know, yes, Wendy, are you interested in filling that position?
I will do it.
Great, thank you, I thought you might. Thank you, Wendy Scarlett. All right, awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I'll put you on the list.
9:45.
9:45.
First Friday of the month.
I will up my game on the Zoom, by
Yeah,
the way.
You can Zoom or you can be here.
Well, I think you were my interpreter last time. Sorry.
Okay, well, thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do
Thank
this.
you.
Awesome,
We
awesome.
we are a fun group. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
We are a fun group.
I think you're a talented group.
We are
And I
a
think you're a
talented,
fun group,
fun
too.
group. Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
let Myra know as well, because she'll be working with you as well as Matt working with you. But we really appreciate you stepping up to do that.
Can I ask this group a question about the art?
No.
Yes. Go ahead.
Hey, oh, that's right, you usurped me. Yes, Matt.
So, we had a meeting afterwards to kind of discuss what went well, what could we do better. And the part of the discussion was 1 weekend or 2. It was very clear with the people that were there that they would prefer 1 weekend, maybe a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend. And I'd like to know if anyone has any feedback on that. The other question, I guess there are 2 questions. The other question is September the right time to do it? We had a discussion and thought maybe the weekend before Mother's Day, in basically the first weekend of May, to do it. And would like to know if you have any feedback on changing it from September to May.
One of the things that was always a problem was rain.
Yeah.
You have to watch out. It has
More
happened
chance
at
of
both
rain in May.
in the spring and the fall.
That's
It
right.
has rained.
That's right.
So you have to have a,
That's
you
why,
know, to
you know,
make sure you can have it
early May-
inside, yeah.
Early May is hopefully late enough that you won't have a.
Well,
good
yeah, you'd
possibility
think.
of rain.
No, I understand.
So, are there any people here that would participate in the tour if it was only 1 weekend? Anybody?
Wendy doesn't have a.
But what was the question?
If the tour is only 1 weekend, would you participate?
Yes.
If the tour is 2 weekends, would you participate? Okay, 1 hand stayed up,
2.
2 hands stayed up, 3 went down.
Sometime back, they did, some people could only do 1 weekend and some people could do both weekends, so.
It's confusing, and it
I
makes
know.
the brochure harder to do. Okay, we got one more board opening. Let's see if we can fill it here. Somebody told me last time that they were a caterer. So I'm looking out here and said, who is that person that told me they were a caterer for that hospitality job? I don't remember who walked up to me and said that.
I'm not sure.
It was one of you new people. I'm looking over here, Melody, I'm looking over there, Rebecca. But who was that used to be a caterer? That person is not standing up right now, okay.
Not here today.
Just look under the table.
It's only food, you know.
What's the other one we
What
got?
can go wrong? Actually, that'll do it.
No, we have 3.
Well.
Oh, special events. I'm looking for a replacement. Somebody that wants to
I've
do
got-
different
okay, the
things.
special, okay.
Yeah,
So
special
here's-
events.
Here's special events. I even highlighted it.
Right.
I was toying with you, Lynell. Okay, special events, chair, and then again, a board position. Duties include event production not covered elsewhere in the PAA board. So for example, we've got the Arts and Culture El Dorado to recruit PAA members to hang art in public places. And it would kind of be a liaison between PAA and did I say PAA?
Arts and
Yeah,
Culture.
and Arts and Culture. So the other thing is, and I'll bring that up, the senior center might be interested in us artists, or those of you that hang. I don't hang. Hang pictures going down the hallway. they like to do that. In fact, they like to set that up for 2 months. So there'd be a liaison between PAA and the senior center. Also, the Harris Center. We're not going to be in the Harris Center next year, but in 2025, we're going to be there. And it's a liaison position.
And it's also a creative position. If there are things that you want to do that aren't being done already, this is the perfect place for it to happen. If you want to put an art booth up at the farmers markets, this would be the kind of position that could spearhead that. If you find pop-up opportunities for Placerville Arts Association, you can spearhead those kind of opportunities with our members. It is as creative a position as the person that holds it wants to be.
Carolyn's signing up.
No. I know how to say no. And no, but I don't want that position, but I've already offered to sort of be the go-between, the liaison, between the senior center here, Rebecca at the senior center, who has requested us to hang in the hallway. I will be the go-between for that, and they'd like to hang November and December of this year, just for those 2 months to start. I know some of you may have participated in this before, and then COVID happened and people's things were here for 3 years. But right now, it's just for November and December. The hallway's down the way, they have a hanging system, we don't put nails in the wall. Sorry, 2-dimensional work only, wired, ready to hang. I come here almost every Tuesday for art time. You can come and see me on Tuesdays and bring me your art, or you can come in any other open hours and ask for Rebecca and tell them you're from Placerville Arts Association, have your piece of art ready to hang. She will store it until it's time to hang it up in November in a very safe place. We need your name and your phone number, and if you want to put the title and stuff like that, we can't advertise prices, but you can put your card up, and so, or give them a contact number, so if people say, ooh, I really want to buy that, then they'll help them contact you. But I'm more than happy to take possession of your artwork if you would like to hang it for the next couple of months here at the senior center. So see me afterwards.
Any kind of theme or just wide open?
No, just, it has to be appropriate. That's kind of a coverall word, but I don't think.
Okay, so you're not hanging my clowns, is that what you're saying?
No, not crafts, no news, no violence, no political statement,
All that kind of stuff. We have a small audience here. Can you MailChimp or send out an email to the masses? Because you need,
Not sure.
Let's do a blast.
Okay.
Let's do a blast through
I didn't
Teresa.
hear about this until, well, it kind of was offered to the art time group and I didn't get much response. So this is a bigger group, but it's also, they wanted to hang it November, December, so we're running out of time. So Linnell, I'll talk to you about a blast.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. Okay. Also, I just throw it out, I think I throw it out each time, but the board meeting, we are talented, we are fun, and you don't have to be a board member to come. And it would really be nice to have some participation. The first Friday of every month here, 9:45. There's a lot of information.
What was the end time?
And it's actually the lounge down the hall. And we call those people that attend board advisors. And they don't really get a vote, but we always honor your opinion. And it's a great way, if you're new to Placerville Arts or you just want to get more involved, it's a great way of coming out and looking for where your fit is, looking to see what will work for you or what you can do to get a little bit more involved in the organization.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's it.
Question.
Sure.
Backing up a little bit to the Christmas brunch.
Yes.